Okay, so imagine growing up in an orphanage where your mentor, this kindly doctor, boils the entire moral universe down to a single choice.
A pretty stark choice.
Incredibly stark. He says it's either an orphan or an abortion. That's the world of John Irving's The Cider House Rules.
It is.
Yeah.
And that paradox is really our focus for this deep dive. We want to pull out what the novel says about ethics, responsibility.
And the clash between what the law says and what compassion demands.
Exactly. It's a painful conflict, and Irving doesn't give you any easy answers.
So let's unpack that first choice. Dr. Larch, he runs this place, St. Cloud's. He delivers babies, but he's also secretly performing illegal abortions.
He's very direct about it. He tells women, this is the reality. You have two paths.
But framing it like that, I mean, isn't that almost morally reckless? It could alienate so many people.
Well, from his perspective, theory is a luxury. For the women arriving at his door, many of them are poor or victims of abuse. This is not some abstract debate.
It's a health crisis right now.
It's an immediate life or death health issue. So he prioritizes their safety over what the law says or what a church might say. He's practicing what you could call benevolent paternalism.
Acting with an authority he wasn't given.
Because the formal authorities, the ones who should be helping, offer no safe alternative. He's essentially saying, the system has abandoned you, so I will break its rules to protect you.
And that just perfectly mirrors so many modern debates. You see legal bans pushing safe medical procedures into the shadows.
And it's always the most marginalized who suffer.
So it begs the question, right? When the law is uncompassionate, what is a doctor or anyone supposed to do?
And that is the exact tension that defines Homer Wells, Larch's protege.
Yeah, let's talk about Homer. Because he refuses to perform abortions, he has this personal conviction.
He does. He wants to practice obstetrics, help bring life into the world, but keep his own hands morally clean, so to speak.
But doesn't he deserve some credit for that? He's trying to stick to an ideal. He's not the villain here.
Oh, he's definitely not the villain. But the novel really challenges that kind of pure idealism. Homer's refusal, his desire for a clean conscience. It doesn't solve the problem.
It just moves it.
It just shifts the burden of harm onto Larch or onto the women themselves. Irving is basically asking, is it truly a moral stance if it increases the suffering of other people?
Which connects directly to the idea of rules. Whose rules should you follow? And that gets us to the title of the book.
Yes, the Cider House Rules. It's such a crucial metaphor.
It refers to this list of rules, right?
Yeah.
Posted in a bunkhouse for migrant workers.
A list of rules that, first of all, they can't even read. And second, the rules have absolutely nothing to do with their actual lives, their struggles.
So the foreman, Mr. Rose, he says the real rules are the ones they make for themselves, day by day.
Exactly. The ones based on need and reality, not some distant authority. It's a powerful metaphor for laws written by people, legislators, clergy, who will never face the consequences of those laws.
And this metaphor becomes tragically real.
Devastatingly real. It happens when Mr. Rose's own daughter, who is pregnant by him, by her own father, needs Homer's help.
And all the formal rules, they completely fail to protect her.
They failed entirely. And that is the moment that forces Homer to abandon this fantasy of having a pure conscience. He has to embrace what you might call tragic responsibility.
Tragic responsibility. I think that's the core of his journey. It's the moment he accepts there is no clean option left.
Right. It's not about finding the perfect good. It's about choosing the action that minimizes the most harm.
Yeah.
Even if it means
Getting your hands dirty.
getting your hands dirty.
Yeah.
He performs the abortion for her. And in doing so, he accepts that sometimes you have to get involved in the tragedy to mitigate it. That's what ultimately leads him back to St. Cloud's to continue Larch's necessary, if fraught, work.
So at the end of the day, the novel really challenges you, the listener, to weigh moral rhetoric, the letter of the law, the ideals, against the messy reality of what it means to actually care for someone.
It suggests adulthood, or at least moral maturity, means choosing imperfect action over a comfortable, pure inaction.
So here's a thought we want to leave you with. Based on the arguments in this book, when you see a rule posted on a wall, whether it's literal or legal, it forces you to ask, whose reality was this rule written to ignore? And does that failure justify breaking it?